I'm gonna be talking about this movie for the rest of my life, so it's only fitting it'd be my first YouTube video. What's going on YouTube? My name is Jay Lee and I like a lot of stuff. Today I'm talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. Because one, it's been out for 10 months and I still can't shut up about it. And two, the extended, more fun version just came out. And since we are more than halfway through 2022, this will be a full spoilers talk about the movie. From the jump, I gotta say I adore this movie. I've seen it 5 times in theaters, including the extended cut. And now that I own it on 4K Blu-ray, it's on pretty regularly. This movie was an event. It's the end game of Spider-Man movies, and it was an absolute joy watching it opening night with fans reacting to all the fan service. I'm fully aware that it isn't perfect, and if you choose to, there are ways to nitpick the crap out of it. But for me, and however little it takes to please me as a Spidey fanboy, I was over the moon with what Marvel gave me. I'm gonna cut straight to the chase and say this movie was a 10 for me. It instantly became my favorite Spider-Man film and favorite MCU film. It gave me so much more than I could have dared to dream from a Spider-Man movie. And it went out of its way to address things that Marvel simply didn't owe us. For starters, there were a lot of pro-Tobey Maguire fans out there talking about how Tom Holland's Spider-Man was essentially an Iron Man Jr. and that everything that's special about him came from Tony Stark. By sneakily turning this 3-part home trilogy into an origin story for Spidey, the movie silences haters by stripping down Tom Holland's Peter at the end of the movie to a hand-sewn cloth suit that's as comic accurate as any we've seen in live action. So moving forward, anyone who thought this Peter was too happy-go-lucky or hadn't undergone the trials of being Spider-Man, huge spoilers. The death of Aunt May becomes the catalyst for Tom's Spider-Man to be greater and establish the type of person he's gonna be for the rest of his Spidey career. And I for one cannot wait to see where they go from here. However, immediately after my first watch, I felt a bit nervous. On one hand, it was like, wow, they did it! And gave Tom an origin story for the ages. And also snuck in a One More Day reference. More on that later. Clearing the canvas for what's to come. Pretty amazing, right? That is, until I started thinking about the drama between Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios. Because of money, No Way Home almost didn't happen. So with that in mind, wiping the slate clean essentially cuts any ties this Spider-Man has to the MCU, to the Avengers, Stark Tech, Doctor Strange, everyone. So the cynic in me questioned if this was like Marvel not wanting to deal anymore with Sony's bullshit and saying, alright, we've told the Spider-Man story we wanted to tell, broke some records, set the bar as high as we possibly could. Now if you, Sony, want to go and mess things up with Venom 3 versus Spider-Man or throw Jared Leto into the next Spider-Man movie, that's on you. The thought of that made me so sad and almost ruined my first experience with the movie. Until Amy Pascal and Sony expressed interest in making future Spider-Man movies with Marvel Studios. Whew. I mean, they'd be foolish not to. Anyways, end rant. Back to talking about No Way Home. I hate calling this movie a love letter to fans, but come on. They gave us 3 live-action Peter Parkers on screen at once, and in a way that wasn't just fan service for the sake of fan service. Tobey and Andrew played a key role in Tom's story. I mean, the entire third act is them working together right up to the end of the movie. Moreover, No Way Home acts like a continuation of both other Spider-Man stories as well. You get finality to some loose threads, because even though Tobey had his trilogy, it didn't end with any degree of certainty. So when Peter 2 says,
took a while, but we made it work.
Yeah?
Yeah, me and MJ.
It's closure. And for Andrew, who didn't even get a third film, Peter 3's revelation about
some point I stopped pulling my punches. I got rageful. I got bitter.
It was so telling. In a few sentences, you get to see where his character went and how it wasn't a good place, and because of that, he's trying to shield this younger Peter from an awful fate. It was beautiful to see an actor who loved the character so much get some appreciation for a series of movies that's been widely underappreciated. Again, I know this movie isn't perfect. Most of the shortcomings I would say have to do with the villains, but with everything this movie accomplished, I take it with a grain of salt and just bask in the gift that is Spider-Man No Way Home. Earlier, I hinted at a comic book storyline called One More Day. It was a controversial, mostly unpopular choice for the character where in that story, Peter makes a deal with the devil, Mephisto, and must sacrifice the love that he and Mary Jane have in order to save the life of a dying Aunt May. Essentially, that plot point was meant to breathe new life into the comics by rebooting Peter Parker as a bachelor Spider-Man. So Marvel, doing what they do, they pay homage to it and integrate it into the MCU in a way that makes sense for this story, but also creates intrigue and open-endedness for the future of the character. Anyways, I really could go on talking about this movie for a very, very long time. In fact, I already have plans on sharing some of my favorite Easter eggs and deep cut references in a future video. But for now, that's all I got for you on Spider-Man No Way Home. Come back soon to catch my thoughts on all the stuff I haven't talked about yet.